Welcome back, everyone. It's November 12th, 2020. I'm Jerry Hall, and here's the view from Costa Rica. Well, earlier this morning, we saw Bitcoin up over $16,000 and a total market cap for the entire digital asset space at $460 plus billion. Well, this bodes very well for us as this market continues to grow and Bitcoin continues to gain exposure, acceptance, and adoption. Other viable, valuable projects in this ecosystem will also attract value. This is very important, especially for those of us that have been sitting through a close to 3-year-long depressed market. Now, I wanted to draw attention to 2 points, and I think they're very, very, very important. Point number 1, I got this alert from Seeking Alpha. Bitcoin topped 16,000 for the first time in 3 years, but Ray Dalio isn't a fan. Controversial headline, of course, as most journalism is nowadays. But I think what it draws attention to, and I think it's really important for us to understand, is that the points that Ray Dalio brought up in his speaking to Yahoo Finance as it pertains to Bitcoin are very valid points. Now, this article is kind of, drawing this picture that the baby is getting thrown out with the bathwater. But here's the thing. Ray's negative for this space is that these digital assets are very, very difficult to transact in on several fronts. One, the cost of transactions. For those of us that have lived in the Bitcoin world, we know that fees vary and settlement times vary depending upon the activity of the network. And it's true. It does not bode well as a payment system today. He also is drawing attention to a very important point that not a lot of people are talking about. Some are, but very few, and that is the actual taxonomy of these assets. It is very unclear whether this digital asset space is this or that. And what I'm referring to is it a commodity? Is it a currency? Is it a security? These are very, very, very important distinctions because each of them have a different way of interacting with the tax code. Now, as of now, as a default position, we have to assume when we transact in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, or any of these digital assets as it pertains to commerce, simple explanation would be buying a cup of coffee. That as it pertains to specifically in the US with the IRS, these are events that need to be looked at and factored in to an asset being liquidated, therefore causing it to be subject to either a capital gain or a capital loss. This makes it very difficult to use digital assets as a form of money. Now, as we go further into this and you start to extrapolate down the road, what are the quote unquote use cases and how can those use cases gain adoption? Well, I can tell you right now, as it sits in the US, and I don't believe it's that different for many of the developed nations as it pertains to their individual tax codes, the sheer terror that must ensue for those people that are considering using these assets to do simple everyday things, put gas in their car. I know many of us have had these wonderful little exchange-backed debit cards where we can use our debit card in real everyday commerce. However, each time an asset is liquidated to provide a source of value for a purchase in a commercial sense, there is some ramification. This makes adoption extremely difficult and extremely slow. And after all, if we want these assets to be used, they need to have clarity. Hence, why so many in this space are talking about the need for regulatory clarity. There's regulatory clarity needed on many fronts. Taxation and classification probably are the two first and foremost, the most important. Let's go into the second thing that has really got me going today. Scott Powell over at XRP Army News and I had a conversation this morning, and he was referencing this CoinDesk article about some of these US representatives ripped into Brian Brooks, right, for his focus on crypto. And as I read through the article, I could not help but come up with this one conclusion. And that is, many of these quote unquote elected officials, these lawmakers, are conflating issues, right? Obviously, if they're a United States elected official, there is a vested interest in keeping the US dollar front center for all the world's commerce. The US enjoys many, many benefits of being the world's reserve currency. And I don't want to debate that. It's been the way it's been. It's worked out for some, not so much for others. But that's the way it's been. And I can understand this America first, America first, America first position. However, what they're really talking about and voicing their concerns about aren't digital assets really like Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP. It's stable coins. Well, here's the easy solution. Have your central bank create a digital currency and have it available as a medium of exchange to anybody in the world that wants it. If you have people that want their debt in US dollars, well, allow them to transact in your nation's digital currency. It's really a simple thing that is becoming increasingly muddied. Now, one of the things that we as individuals can do, and if you're listening to me and you're a United States citizen and you're in the US or abroad, but you are still a US citizen, this article referenced a list of these representatives. It is very easy in today's world to have direct access to your elected officials. Their emails are public, and most of them have Twitter accounts. Simply speak your mind. Expecting your voice to be represented in Congress, whether it be through your House representative or your senator, without you giving it is really kind of silly. You need to let these folks know what you, the American people, want. Does that automatically mean that your voice will be heard and implementation of your voice will enter law? No, it doesn't mean that. But if enough people say, hey, if you don't comply with the voice of the people, we will vote you out next term. Well, most politicians have a vested interest in staying elected. We need to use our system. This is a topic that does not require you having an affiliation with any political party. This is about commerce. This is about the transmission of value. It's easy enough for us to reach out to these folks and say, hey, listen, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Stable coins are not Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Chainlink, Cardano, VeChain, Polkadot, etc. That these technologies will actually bring about innovation, new jobs, and create value not only for those early investors and those actual innovators, but for the actual end users as well. It is a very classic everyone can win. Even the legacy systems that are facing disruption, all they need to do is innovate and adapt. And therein lies the question, doesn't it? Keep in mind, many of us in the crypto space have a much deeper understanding of the nuances between Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and all the others than any of these lawmakers. That's why it's important for us to reach out. So if you have an opinion on this matter, go to CoinDesk. Read this article. Again, it's titled U.S. Representatives Rip OCC Brooks for Exclusive Focus on Crypto. Let them know what you're thinking. I'm telling you, if thousands upon thousands of emails are going into their offices saying, hey, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't broad stroke this crypto space as all one thing, because it isn't. Yes, there are elements of your points that we understand, and here's how you can circumvent that. Here are things that will benefit all people. Define the differences, etc. I think you get my point, folks. That's where I'm at today. I'm thinking of how I'm going to craft my response. Obviously, it's going to start with a email to my district representative in the House, as well as the 2 state senators for the residents that I still have on file with in the state of California. But also, I'm going to do an email, and I'm going to address it individually to each one of these representatives that were listed on this letter to Brian Brooks. Innovation is important. And if we don't, as a nation, get on board, this will pass us by. They know this. Trust me, when you hear Jay Clayton sit in front of a congressional hearing and say, hey, if we don't do something, it's just going to, it's not like we're going to be able to ban it. They're going to just work around us. They know this. We just need to let them know that we know how important this is. So, folks, I hope that inspires some thought. I also hope that it inspires some action. Thought without action is just a waste of a couple seconds of brain time. We can do this. Grassroots, let's pull it up. This entire asset class has been drug out of the mud by normal, everyday people like you and I. The powers that be are just getting clued in. And it's becoming undeniable that this asset class is here and the genie is out of the bottle. I want to wish you all very well. I want to thank all of you new subscribers, as well as the old guard that continues to tune in video after video, whether it be a live stream or an interview or a Beyond Moon Wealth series, or even these little market insights that I do occasionally. Your support for this channel means a ton to me. I look forward to bringing you all kinds of incredible new content going forward. I hope that you can add me to your catalog, not displace some other content creator, because there are so many wonderful people doing doing the very best they can to provide good, solid information. Gravitate to the voices that resonate with inside of you, just as I do. And together, we can help, in our small part, bring this asset class to maturity. So until next time, everybody, Pura Vida.